Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Got question Chase, has got the facts, talking NFL numbers, he's got your back. A little chart trend ball, man, he's got it like that. Chasing data by do champions. Chasing data applies to everyone. Chasing data, yeah, we're live today. Chasing data for always. Chasing data by do champions.
All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Chasing Data. Tonight, we are finally doing something a little different. I finally broke down all 32 teams with the power rankings, and now we are going to start talking about top 5 offenses and defenses tonight. But we will do that tonight and actually have a guest on tonight. I'm bringing him on now. There it is, Mr. Samuel Njoku. What's up, Samuel?
What's going on, Chase? Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate you jumping on. I see that you're a Ravens fan like myself, so I greatly appreciate that. Here at Do Media, everyone is Buffalo Bills based. So,
Oh boy,
one's not familiar. Everyone besides myself, they are a Buffalo Bills supporter and a fan, and I'm on here kind of covering the rest of the NFL, but at heart, a Baltimore Ravens fan. So,
good choice.
What got you into being a Baltimore fan? What made you a Baltimore fan?
Well, I was born and raised in Baltimore. I actually didn't really get into the industry until after undergrad. I went to actually do pre-medicine, but I always has a hankering for writing and narrating and my fandom with the Ravens and actually just sports in general led me to a gig with Examiner.com, and then that led to a gig with CBS, and then that led with the gig with Sports Illustrated, and all of that culminated in me eventually branching off and doing my own thing with the podcasting. So I've always been a reporter, tried to keep the bias at bay, being a Ravens reporter primarily, and also, supporting the team. So now that I get to branch off my own, I get to show my support for the team as well as still be as unbiased as possible to give the Ravens fans as much unbiased information as possible.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, you definitely have some great information. I've been checking you out as of late, and you talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly for the Ravens.
Sure do.
If anyone's watching now, please go give my guy a follow at Ravens Talk Pod. Are you just on X, or are you on TikTok, Instagram? What you got?
You can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Ravens Talk Podcast as well. You can find me on YouTube at Ravens Talk Podcast. So that's where we do most of our big media over there, and you can also find us wherever you get your podcast as well.
Cool. All right, well, we're going to get straight into it. I'm kind of going to give away. So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to, like I said, we're going to do offenses and defenses, just top 5, keep it short. And I'm going to give mine, and we're going to see where Samuel ranks his at, and we'll kind of go back and forth, get a little banter, see how much we agree and disagree on these. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my number 1 here. Let's see. Sorry, I say number 1, number 5.
Okay.
So number 5, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. Where are they? I mean, as an AFC North fan, I'm sure this hurts to kind of discuss them being a possible top 5 offense. But were they in your top 5 or no?
They were in my top 5. I have them ranked number 4.
Okay.
In my list, yeah.
So we're close for sure. Just give people watching a little overview of what they did last year. They were 7th in points per game. Whenever I started doing more deep dive on their offense, I feel like the part of the media kind of portrayed them to be just like top 2, top 1 offense because they had such a terrible defense last year. But they were closer to like 7, 8 in a lot of the advanced analytics. I mean, they were 7th in points per game. I mean, we know the run game didn't really get much going. The pass game, they had high numbers, but I mean, they threw the ball at the 2nd highest rate in the league. I mean, they were 7th in EPA per play, 5th in EPA per pass, and 15th in EPA per rush. So like I said, run game was not what we thought it would be. But we know about the weapons that they have. We know about last year. I'm curious to see what happens this year because last year they had the T. Higgins contract issue.
Yeah.
And he was out. How many games he played last year? I believe 9 or 10, I want to say. But now they have a full offseason of Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, the great Mike Gesicki. So I'm kind of curious to see. I mean, this offensive line may hamper them a little bit, and the run game's still not there. But with Joe Burrow and those two, it's hard to argue against them not being in the top 5.
That is a perfect summation of what the Bengals are going through. Yeah, their run game isn't great. Let's be honest, they're middle of the pack, and a lot of the reason why their run game is so good is because everyone's pushing their guys back to defend the pass. You mentioned T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. That tandem is unbelievable. That is going to be a very tough tandem to beat. I know Ravens fans are concerned about it, even if they don't want to say it. It is an issue that we have to deal with every single season. But yeah, their offensive line isn't great. Joe Burrow, luckily, is very good against the rush, so that helps them out a ton. But without the run game going, if you have a defense with, the DBs that a team like the Ravens have, or maybe the Broncos have, that can, pretty much stave off that passing attack, then they find themselves in trouble a little bit sometimes. So that's why I have them at number 4. But, I respect Joe Burrow enough. I wouldn't put him at 5, but I see, it was definitely a toss up between my number 5 and number 14.
Yeah. Quick side note. It looked pretty terrible them last night with their first string defense minus Trey Hendrickson against the backups of the Philadelphia Eagles, and we're still getting torched. So, but we'll take it. I mean, we'll take a 50-47 win every week if we have to against the Bengals. Just to touch on a few more things with them. One thing that I found really surprising is they had these two. I mean, probably the best duo in the NFL, possibly wide receiver, arguably, anyways. But they had the lowest average separation per target in the NFL, 3.1 yards, which is wild because you just think about how much they're passing the ball. The passing game is just so great, but then there's not much separation. You would expect as much as they are getting the ball, that it would be a higher number. So that was surprising.
I'm glad
because they were 5th in yards after the catch. So once they're catching the ball, then they're making things happen, but they're just not making separation.
Joe Burrow effect. Joe Burrow is really good at throwing it in a tight window, and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins both have a great catch radius where they're able to make those plays and kind of muscle off the first tackler. So yeah, you're right. They don't really do it great with separation. They're not the fastest guys, but they're pretty decent route runners, and they're strong enough where if you arm tackle them, that's not going to be good enough against these guys.
For sure. I'm curious. I would say, Josevas has to step up in that wide receiver 3 this year. Don't you agree?
Yeah, it has to be him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's go on to number 4 here. Number 4, I have the Detroit Lions. Did you have them on there, or where did? And
I
if
did
you
have
did,
them
where
on there. I had them at number 3.
Number 3. So I'm curious to see who who you have it where I'm skipping at right here, since you're one ahead of me.
You'll find out. I think you're going to be a little surprised.
So, well, it's a little bit covered up. Well, you can still see. I'm bringing up their depth chart here. So for the Lions, I had them at number 4. You had them at 3. So we're kind of pretty together right now. First and foremost, I probably would have had them higher if they still had Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a given, I believe, to why they dropped a spot or two at least. But I feel like the season's probably maybe look a little rough, especially maybe on both sides of the ball to begin the season as they get acclimated to this new system with the new offensive coordinator. But I mean, just a high level view of what this team still has. They're bringing back everybody, basically. The only issue and another reason why they're lower is that they lost Kevin Zeitler and Frank Ragnow. Frank Ragnow, arguably, top 3 at worst center in the league. Yep. But them losing those two and how Jared Goff is affected so much by pressure. I have his numbers here talking about pressure. I mean, he's great when he's protected and when he's upright. 2nd in QBR last season when he had a clean pocket, dropped all the way to 20th when he was pressured. And when he was pressured on 3rd down, he was 31st in QBR with a QBR of 1.8.
Sheesh. Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, that's just the biggest issue is how well they're going to be able to work around that. I mean, they bring in Tate Radley, who they drafted in the 2nd round. I want to say that they were talking about him possibly starting at center, but it's not going to be him as the latest reports, I believe. I think they moved him to guard, if I'm not mistaken.
That makes sense.
But I guess they're trying anything, try to get the replacement value of who they lost. But I mean, they just have weapons everywhere. I mean, ARSB, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Then they have arguably the best running back duo in the NFL. They have Sam Laporta, who would be maybe a number 1 receiver on, 10 teams in the NFL. I mean, he's just a afterthought whenever you have all these other players. Anything you want to add for them?
I mean, you said it all. The weapons are amazing. It's why I have them ranked so high. But the one thing that I will say I wasn't 100% on board with, what I didn't realize, is that him and pressure don't go together. So if you're getting after Jared Goff, you are in you're looking pretty. And if you're Jared Goff, you're in a lot of trouble. So hopefully the Lions find a way to protect him. Obviously, they know more than anybody that protecting him is their best chance to win. So doing so gives them that opportunity. If they don't protect them, then this offense will sputter, because Jared Goff, we've seen the Jared Goff of old where he has had consistent pressure and what that looked like. So I'm sure the Lions don't want to go back to that.
Agreed 100%. Just touching on a few more with the stats, a few more stats for the other players. With Amon-Ra St. Brown, we were talking about Jared Goff with the pressure. Are they blitzing, other teams blitzing him more to try to get him on the move, because we know he cannot do anything on the move. But on the flip side of that, Amon-Ra St. Brown led the league last year in first downs versus the blitz. He had 27. I think Mike Evans was second. He had like 25 or so. So, I mean, like, we know that Amon-Ra St. Brown is his go-to target. And I'm not like afraid, because I'm not a Lions fan, but I'm afraid to see how this offense is going to change, because it's just like Ben Johnson had an answer for everything. Yeah. We saw Penei Sewell running out with the ball. I mean, it was just anything and everything could go with this team. And it's going to be hard to replace him. Not say he's irreplaceable, but it's going to be hard to get the same level of production for sure.
I have a lot of friends who are Lions fans, and I told them, you don't understand. As a good football team, first of all, you don't understand what it means to be a good football team. You haven't been a great football team in a while, and you don't know what it feels like to be a good football team and lose a coordinator the stature of a Ben Johnson. That is a loss. I mean, that's almost as bad as losing a quarterback. I mean, he was doing so much for that organization. It's going to be a drop-off. The Ravens had that drop-off as well when they lost Mike McDonald with Zachary Orr. I know a lot of people try and put it on the personnel, but Zachary Orr, that's a new job. He never called plays before, so all of that plays a factor. I think it's going to be tough sledding for the Lions, at least in the early goings, but they have so much talent on the roster that I think eventually they'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like I said earlier, with this backfield duo of Gibbs and Montgomery, David Montgomery, selfishly, they gave David Montgomery, they extended him this offseason. I kind of wish they wouldn't have, just so we would see more. I mean, he was still going to be on the team, but like going into next year, maybe we would have seen more Jahmyr Gibbs just being a 3-down back, just to see what he could do, because I want to see what video game numbers he could put up in this offense, because he's just they're amazing together, because they were number 1 and number 2 in success rate last year amongst running backs. So, I mean, it's when you're a defense like game planning against them, like we spoke on earlier, like there's nothing that outside of, if you don't get pressure on Jared Goff, like what are you doing to stop them? Because if you commit to the pass, they have these two in the backfield. You commit to those two in the backfield, they have weapons. Then they have Jameson Williams opening it up over the top. I mean, it's like the most ideal situation outside of their interior offensive line at this point.
Yep, I agree. If their O-line was together, they'd be higher on my list for sure.
Yeah. So we felt losing that coordinator last season. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
1,000%.
Yep. All right. So let's bring this back up. So we have 5 Cincinnati. This is my own, and Detroit at 4. So he has both of these teams at 4 and 3. Okay. So number 3 have Kansas City Chiefs. Did you have them anywhere in here?
I did not have them in my top 5.
All right. So my argument for them being here, and please tell me why you disagree with some of the things I say. My argument is solely based on the fact that we assume that Rashee Rice is playing this year.
Yes.
If he doesn't play, I mean, they might be 15th in the NFL as far as their offense goes. Last year, they were 12th in points per game. I mean, they couldn't run the ball, 3.9 yards per carry. I mean, the pass game, we know how much it just looked terrible. It was just a bunch of dink and dunks. It was like nothing really. They tried to, use Xavier Worthy as almost like a gadget player, just get him the ball and see what he could do with his speed. Yeah. But with this team, let me bring up their depth chart here. So, like I said, it is solely on Rashee Rice, and that's what my whole argument is based on. We've heard good things about the offensive line with Josh Simmons, their first-round pick, he was injured last year. Was it patellar tendon, I believe, that was torn?
Yeah.
Heard good reports from him in camp. So if he comes in and is left tackle from day one, then all right, we're talking something really good for the Chiefs, because their backup plan was the backup to Trent Williams in San Francisco, who they overpaid, in my opinion, in Jalen Moore. They got Trey Smith back. They did lose Joe Tooney, who got traded to the Bears. But Rashee Rice, I'll give you some numbers on him. From the halfway point in year before last until he got hurt, was it the playoff game he got hurt? Was it the beginning, or is like the last week of the season? I feel like
it was the last week of the season, close to it.
Okay, so from that halfway point to when he got hurt, he was first league-wide in yards after the catch, fourth in yards per route run. So, I mean, he was like the focal point of this outside of Patrick Mahomes, obviously. Yeah. But he was the missing piece for them last year, them not having a wide receiver one. We know Travis Kelce has obviously taken a step back. He does show up every now and again, but, I mean, the only person that's undefeated is Father Time and is showing up against him at this point. Mm-hmm. But Rashee Rice, amazing against zone. You need somebody in that role because, like I said, Kelce is not what he is. You have Xavier Worthy, who could be a man beater if he takes another step in the second year. Xavier is more like the outbreaker, and Rashee Rice is the inbreaker. I just feel like every time I see him catching the ball, it's on an inbreaking route. And then, like I said, the numbers showed how well he was after the catch. And you still, last year, surprisingly, even though this offense was not explosive, they were 7th in success rate. So they were getting plays, but the good plays, I should say, but they weren't taking the top off of the defense ever. They were first in time of possession per drive. I mean, it was just, I'm not trying to just, it's like that saying of what have you done lately for me? I'm trying not to get into that mindset with this team because we know what Patrick Mahomes can do when he has the weapons around him. And I feel like last year was the worst of what we're going to see around him.
I'm there with you. I am there with you. I think part of it doesn't have anything to do with the Chiefs. There's other teams that I think are going to be more explosive and more consistent than the Chiefs. So I try to put that out of it. I have fallen into the trap of what have you done with me lately. Some of that is there. Travis Kelce, we mentioned it taking a step back, probably taking 2 steps back, honestly. Yeah. And then there's a lot of ifs. You know, is Xavier Worthy going to take that next step? Is Hollywood Brown going to get out of his own way and become that receiver that we thought he was when the Ravens drafted him all those years ago? I'm 100% with you on Rashee Rice being that dog. I think he's going to be a top 10 receiver this year. And I think some of the reasons why the Chiefs got beat so bad were because they didn't have a left tackle. And I think Josh Simmons coming in and taking that role will be a huge step in the right direction for the Chiefs. So there are some ifs with this team. I would not be surprised if they're a top 5 offense in this league this year. It's just that, one, there's other teams that I think are more explosive than the Chiefs. And there's a lot of ifs with the Chiefs that could be answered as the season goes on.
For sure. I feel like this is more of a swing for the fences with my rankings because I feel like they have their ceiling could be top 3 with based on the argument, but like their floor is easily, I don't know, 12th or something like that. If Rashee Rice isn't playing, we saw what they did last year. Yeah. But and we were talking about what they did last year. They were I would say efficient in the run game in the first half of the season. Then when Pacheco got injured, I don't feel like he was ever back fully healthy.
That's true.
And it just never clicked again. They started using RPO. And once they started doing that, they finished the season NFL worse, minus 13 EPA lost from RPO plays only, which is ridiculous.
That's crazy.
And then like their explosive pass rate, they were 28. So, I mean, there was just nothing there. So, number 3. I'm really curious to see where yours is going now. So, my number 2,
oh boy,
Buffalo Bills.
The Bills have them. List.
Oh my God! All right, I'm really curious to see who's in your top 5 then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me make my argument for the Bills. Josh Allen. That is my argument. That is basically my argument. We saw what he did last year. This offensive line is outstanding. They're bringing back everyone, I believe. I want to say like they're starting 6. I mean, their 6 most rotated players on that offensive line, I want to say, are coming back. Yeah. I mean, there's not much to argue outside of Josh Allen. I mean, he can just put the team on his back and just take over a game. I mean, he doesn't have the greatest of weapons. He does have Khalil Shakir, but I mean, he's not a stereotypical wide receiver 1. But you have him who has become his go-to target, I would say. Keon Coleman can't be any worse than what he was last year. Between
Very
that
true.
and Josh Allen, like, I mean, if James Cook, I want to say this is also based on the fact that James Cook is actually going to be on the team this year
Yeah.
and show up and not just be there taking care of business or whatever he was saying. But they were second in EPA per play last year, first in EPA per play when they used any pre-snap motion in the pass game, second in points per drive. But I mean, like, this team, Josh Allen, I mean, it's just, I know it's a very simplistic argument, but it's Josh Allen. I mean, he was the MVP last year, but
Huge quotations.
yeah. But I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like the floor for this team can't be 8th at worst. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I am kind of the opposite that I was with the Chiefs, where I'm assuming the Chiefs are going to find a way to do good. And I'm in this mindset, well, Josh Allen's the reason why the Bills are good, right? And there's no question. He's not the MVP in my opinion, but he's definitely number 2 right now. Okay, there's no denying that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure that this team continues to put on Josh Allen to be that Superman. As Ravens fans know, we've been in that situation with Lamar Jackson in the past. They need to surround him with talent. It's just about the talent around him. I was very close to putting them at number 5. I probably should have put them at number 5, but I decided to make my list a little twitchy, a little bit, just a little different. Yeah, a little spicy. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Bills are definitely a top 10 offense, no doubt about it. They can't do worse than 8 unless Josh Allen regresses severely. The only knock that we've ever had on Josh Allen is turnover thing, and that turnover thing was a thing of pass last year. So I think, Josh Allen is going to take this team as far as he can, but I would love to see the Bills surround him with some more talent and really take advantage of his skill set. But right now, I don't have him in my top 5. They really are a top 5 offense, but for whatever reason, I decided to keep him off.
I get it.
Yeah.
All right. So here's my 4. All right. If we don't agree on number 1, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I'm
number
pretty sure
1, Baltimore.
Yep. Okay. We both agree. Number 1 is the Baltimore Ravens. Yep, for sure.
You want to go first? I've gone first every time, and since we agree
I
on
will
one,
go first.
Okay.
The Ravens are they have the best quarterback. It's the best team in the league. Top to bottom, they're just amazing. They do have weaknesses, and we saw it in preseason action this day. Angie Voorhees looks like he's taking that next step. He looked decent. He looked like he was maneuvering very well. I compared him to the other players, and he didn't look like he was lost. Daniel Falele, I mean, he looked atrocious in this past contest. He looked like he did not belong. He didn't look like a starter, and that's a concern. Teams like the Chiefs, like the Steelers, who have a strong defensive front, especially up the middle, can take advantage of that. So that is my concern. But besides that, I mean, there are no weaknesses. They have Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman, who are 2 of the most underrated receivers in the league. They both do things differently, which makes them very potent in how the Ravens can attack opposing defenses. They have 2 phenomenal tight ends in Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. I know a lot of Ravens fans are down on Mark Andrews, but is there a better tight end against the zone right now than Mark Andrews? He's just very good. Unfortunately, he's fallen short in the playoffs recently, but his entire body of work speaks for itself. You got Derrick Henry, running back. You got Justice Hill, who will be starting on some NFL teams, spelling him. And then you have Keaton Mitchell, who looks every bit as fast as he did his rookie year and almost twice as strong in open field. It's very hard to tackle this guy now, apparently, for whatever reason. So lots of good things about this offense. They're multifaceted. They could beat you any number of ways. They're just the total package. They're the best offense in the league.
Agree. Everything you said, I had no disagreements. And, the offensive line, if someone tried to argue, the offensive line may not be the best, whatever issues you may have with the offensive line, to me, it's all alleviated whenever you have Lamar Jackson.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, the play that comes to mind was when he rolled out right last year against the Bengals, where they were at the 20, 25-yard line, or maybe he ran back that far. Yeah. And was it Trey Hendrickson that was chasing him to the sideline and he threw it to Isaiah Likely?
I think it was Sam Hubbard.
Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, like that play, that just summarizes what he can do no matter what issues he may have. They lost Patrick McCarry, who goes to the Jags, who was their Swiss Army knife on that offensive line. But I mean, statistically speaking, you can slice them any way that you want. Like, let me list this. They were 2nd in success rate, 1st in DVOA, 1st in EPA per play, 1st in explosive plays, 1st in yards per play, 1st in red zone rate, 1st versus man coverage, 1st versus zone coverage. Like, I mean, how do you argue against that?
Oh my God. Insane.
I mean, like they had the 6th best EPA per dropback by any team since 2010. And I mean, you think about some of the great offenses, I mean, in the last 15 years roughly. And I mean, the only way they falter from being number one, and I mean this could go for any of these top five, is the injury bug. They had the fewest adjusted games lost on offense out of any team last year at just 7.7. So I mean, that's the only thing that can hold them back. But I mean, like I said, that's for anybody.
Exactly.
So, and then you add in the fact they have one of the best running backs of all time in the backfield, and then two others that can spell him, like you said, and be just not as effective, but effective enough for sure. Yep. Okay, so here's my top five. So you had the Bengals at 4, Lions at 3, Ravens at 1. So who is your number 5?
Number 5, I had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like the Tampa Bay mention. Bucks. Yes, I like the Bucks. I think that Baker Mayfield took a huge step forward. I think, unlike what we have with the Bills, we have and the Chiefs in some aspects, we have a Bucks team with weapons galore. I think Bucky Irving's a top 5 running back. I think they have Mike Evans. They got all sorts of goodies to work with. Can they take that consistently being great? They don't have to be, number one offense, but if they can consistently be a top 10 offense and get that defense together, they're going to make the postseason again. I think Baker Mayfield's a big reason for that. So that's why I have him at number 5. I was flirting with the idea of putting the Bills there, but I just want to give a huge shout out to what the Bucks have been able to do. They looked phenomenal last season, so that's why I have him at number 5. And you want me to tell you my number 2?
Yeah, let me add to your Tampa Bay argument, because I had 2 teams that I had listed. I had 7 that I was trying to decide between. I had Tampa Bay number 6. And I mean, everything you just said, then they go out and get another wide receiver in the second round. Did they get Ibuka in the second round? The second?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he comes in. They have an embarrassment of riches with weapons, honestly. Last year, I mean, they were 5th in EPA per play, 4th in EPA per pass, and 5th in EPA per rush. I mean, Bucky Irving, like you said, has been outstanding. To me, they're like the sleeper team in the NFC. Like if they made it to the Super Bowl, I would not be blown. I mean, would it be a somewhat of a surprise? Maybe a little bit, but I would not be blown away,
Yeah, I agree with you. They're going to be a tough out.
Yeah, for sure. And then the NFC South is god awful anyway. So.
Yeah.
All right. So who is your number 2 team that we don't have, right?
My number 2 team, and I'm actually very surprised you don't have them, and I want to hear your thoughts, and I think you know where I'm going. It's the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, they are a juggernaut of juggernauts. They have some people thought he would be the MVP in Saquon Barkley. They got Vontae Smith. They got A.J. Brown. They got an offensive line that's superb. That one knock on them, obviously, is the quarterback. He is not the quarterback that's going to win you a football game. He's going to manage the game. There's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, he got them to a championship. The other people on your list obviously have superb quarterback play. Even Jared Goff is one of the more underrated passers in our league right now. But yeah, I think that their offensive line scares the daylights out of me. I think I've watched them in person against the Ravens last year. I saw what their front 5 can do. Saquon Barkley, there are ways to stop him, but you're going to be giving up a lot of what you do on the back end, and that's what you saw pretty much in that Chiefs game in the Super Bowl, where the Chiefs really sold their soul to try and stop Saquon, and that's what gave those one-on-one matchups on the outside for Hurts to get over. So yeah, I think they're the number 2 offense in the league. They're going to be very tough to beat. Can they be stopped? Yes, if Jalen Hurts regresses or if Jalen Hurts doesn't, step up in his gameplay. I think that's something that Eagles fans need to realize. He needs to get better as a passer if the team's going to continue to have success, and that remains to be seen. But I'm going to give respect to the Super Bowl champs, and then number 2 on my list.
Fair. All right, so I had the number 7. I mean, they were number 7, and my argument for that, I understand all your viewpoints on that, and it's extremely reasonable in my opinion. What worries me the most, well, I guess there are a few things that worries me. One is the Jalen Hurts argument. Like, is he going to go back? He's been up and down at times. They're losing Kellen Moore? Because Kellen Moore, I saw that Jalen Hurts, he was below average versus the blitz, and then last year he was first in QBR versus the blitz. So there's a huge jump. How much is that him just processing things better? Is it Kellen Moore with the scheming it up? But the argument, like you said, I mean, I don't even know how much is their scheme. It's more, hey, our 11 are better than your 11, and there's nothing you can really do about it outside of Jalen Hurts just throwing it away. The only other thing that I saw that really worried me was he had 54 pass attempts in the second half, trailing in the second half all season.
Yeah.
And 45 of those 54 came in the first 4 weeks. So from week 5 to week 18, he had 9 passes when trailing in the second half. So it's like,
you don't know adversity.
Yeah, I mean, that's like I'm curious to see. I mean, would it surprise me? No. The other thing that worries me is the number of carries that Saquon had last year. Are they going to run him into the ground? I mean, we see the likes of players before, like Christian McCaffrey, who had a ton of carries. He gets hurt last year. You think back all the way back to Chris Johnson, who had that great season, and after that, it was never the same. I feel like they're going to tone it down a little bit with the number of carries. Plus, you have a Super Bowl hangover to some extent. I would assume. I mean, the regular season doesn't really matter to them. As long as they get in, who cares? But yeah, so I guess I guess the Chiefs were the only one that we talked about that I had that you did not have, right?
And the Bills.
Or in the Bills. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we kind of agree for the most part.
Your list is better than mine.
All right. So I'm going to do a quick commercial break, and it's only about 45 seconds, and then we will come right back and do top 5 defenses.
Sounds good.
For the best Italian food in Western New York, Elliot Apollos, call 716-825-3675. The Lardon Construction Group.
Fubo TV, the official streaming service of Do Champions. FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Do Champions.
For all your summertime needs, beauty pools, as well as kayak pools.
CX Chronicles, your total customer solutions focused manager. W.GG, the official energy drink of Do Champions.
Hey, Sons of Erie, our artwork looks better on your walls. Hamburg Brewing, please visit our tap room on Boston State Road, Hamburg, New York. And finally,
Fat Boy Surf Club for all your surfing needs.
All right, so here's our top 5 offenses for anyone who is just now joining us. I'm going to go straight into my number 5 defense. Just spoke about them. Philadelphia Eagles.
What?
All right, so I'm guessing you have them much higher or higher.
I have them number 1.
Okay. All right.
Oh, man, can we do this?
Okay, I'll go first then. So they lose Milton Williams. They lose Josh Sweat.
Yeah.
Can Zach Bond replicate what he did last year? That's my argument. That's my argument for them dropping from 1 to 5. They do still have Vic Fangio, who is, I mean, one of the greatest D coordinators. They draft Jahai Campbell in the first round. I mean, again, the rich just get richer with what they already have. It's not really, I want to say it's less about me bumping them down as it is about me bumping other teams up.
Yeah, that's how I was with the offense. Okay, and I'm going to put them at number 2 now. You convinced me a little bit. I'm going to put them at number 2. Yeah, number 2.
So like I said, they lost Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, and that was 2 of their top 4 pressure getters last year. They still have Jalen Carter, who could be Defensive Player of the Year. They still have, I feel like they moved from at the beginning of the season last year or starting the season, they were a front 4 led defense. Like they depended on that front 4 to alleviate pressure on the secondary. But now we're going into 2025 and it may be the opposite. The secondary is kind of leading this defense with the front 4 picking up the slack, if you could say. But that's argument for 5. Why do you have them 1/2 now?
I will tell you, I'm very happy that you convinced me that they're not going to be as great up front because my whole thing has been Jalen Carter. I think this is probably a case of me having watched them in person, and I was like second row, 50-yard line, so I got to see every single time that they threw my offensive lineman on the ground. The offensive line of the Ravens spent half the game on their knees for whatever reason. So I was very impressed. Yes, they lose Josh Sweat, who I think is going to be a phenomenal loss. I don't think Eagles fans understand how big of a loss that is because that is their edge rusher. But I love Jalen Carter, man. And to your point, I think that this Eagles defense will have to rely more on their secondary. I'm not 100% sure that they got what it takes. I mean, it is, I think, again, as you mentioned, their front 4 led the game. Every single game, it was their front 4 leading the charge. Mm-hmm. You got me convinced. I don't know. I do like Cooper DeJean. They did get Jihad Campbell in the draft, who I think was a steal of a pick. Who's surprised that they do that every year, right? But I think that this defense, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They are Super Bowl champions, so I'm going to keep them at number 2. But I see why you dropped them at number 5 now because you make a lot of good points. Their secondary is going to have to do a lot. I'm not 100% sure they can do that, so Yeah, I like your 5 spot. I'll leave him at number 2 to show respect. But you convinced me. Good job.
Appreciate it. One side note: how is Quinion Mitchell ranked ahead of Kyle Hamilton in the NFL Top 100 players?
Let's don't even get me started on that. I'm gonna get so angry. Kyle Hamilton, in my opinion, best safety in the league by far. Top 10, top 20, if I'm being nice, player overall in the National Football League. I think safeties get, they don't get as much rep as they should. But yeah, Kyle Hamilton's not even a question. Way better than him.
It's crazy. Just absolutely crazy.
Insane.
All right. Number 4, Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh. Me and you are pretty similar. I have him at number 3.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, look, since you're the Ravens guy, I'll let you go first. I'll let you speak on them and I'll add. Is that cool?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, we know the secondary. The cornerback room is insane. They got Jair Alexander, Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, TJ Tampa, Chris Avuzier. I mean, they have 5 corners that obviously was starting in the league, but I mean, Avuzier is going to be coming off the bench. He may not play more than 10, 15 snaps a game, and he'd be starting on some NFL franchises, which tells you how deep this cornerback room is. Kyle Hamilton and Malachi Starks. I'm very high on Malachi Starks, even though he's a rookie. I think we've seen glimpses of him in preseason and in training camp that he's going to be a great piece to have alongside Kyle Hamilton. Their front 4 is something to talk about. I think that Nnamdi Madubuike got a bad rep for taking a step back. I think he just needs to understand what it takes to be double and triple teamed. I think Travis Jones and Peebles will help alleviate some of that pressure that goes his way with the schematics of the opposing offense. And then you have the pass rushers, which is, to me, is the question mark. I know the Ravens are second in sacks, but their pass rush win rate was middle of the pack. After losing to Davion Clowney in 2024, they took a step back in terms of the success of their pass rush. So I know Kyle Van Noy and Odafe Oweh are the 2 guys. Mike Green looks phenomenal. Everyone's talking about how athletic he is. I think he will be a force, but I don't want to put too much pressure on these rankings on a rookie being as successful as we think he should be. So that's one of the main reasons I have them at 3. And that's really and also the run blocking. I don't know if I trust anyone outside of Roquan Smith to attack the run. Michael Pierce retired. There's not really a guy who I know can come in and for sure be that guy. I know they brought in guys to kind of alleviate that loss, but there are question marks there as well. So do I suspect this team is going to be better than number 3? Yes, but there are too many question marks for me to for sure put them there. The rookies will have to step up, so I'll keep them in number 3 for now, but I like them at 4 as well.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, all that's a perfect point. So for this defense and why they really can't be outside the top 5, honestly. Yeah. I mean, once and I'm gonna let you speak on this more because you can probably expand on it more than I can. But once they move Kyle Hamilton in the second half of the season, like their second half numbers, they were first in EPA per play allowed in the second half of the season, first in success rate, first in points per game allowed. And speak on more, what did they do that really changed this defense?
I mean, they stopped using Buffalo. That's the big thing. Buffalo being the big nickel package that they have. They used to run a lot of 3 safeties that would put Kyle Hamilton really in the box more so than anything. And they had Eddie Jackson and I can't, off the top of my head, remember who the other safety was that they got rid of in the back end. And that wasn't working. There was a lot of communication issues. And they really needed to solidify the back end because they were giving up too many big plays. So what do? You put your best player in the back end to defend it. So that's what they did. They also put a Darius Washington beside him and cut their too high safety look. And so that really took the teeth off of their defense. Obviously, the turnovers decreased dramatically because you're not getting that pressure with Kyle Hamilton that they're so accustomed to. They're going to play more of that this year, I still think, because they lost to Darius Washington. You will see Kyle Hamilton primarily in the back end, but I think you'll see more blitzing with Marlon Humphrey, more blitzing with Chidobe Awuzie and TJ Tampa. They'll use their corners more to be that guy to come in there and solidify the run game and generate that pass rush more so than having a safety up top and keeping a 1 high safety look or maybe even a cover 3 look. So I think the Ravens are going to be just fine, but I think Zachary Orr is going to move away from the Mike McDonald scheme and kind of keep that 2 high safety look, but keep the versatility with their corners to generate that pass rush.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, them Malachi Starks falling to them in the first round. It's just
hilarious.
It just made me feel so good. So yeah, number 4, number 3 for you. So we're what right there. Number 3 for me, Detroit Lions.
Ooh, let me see where I had them. I have to have them in my top 3. Did I? I did not.
Did you have them in your top 5 or?
I have them in my top 7.
7. Okay.
Yeah, not in my top 5.
Okay. Main argument is their season was thrown away due to injuries last year on the defense. It was like, I think it was the most ever, I want to say, adjusted games lost on the defensive side of the ball. And it was like the second most of any team since they've been tracking, or something ungodly. But I mean, with all that happened, they were still an average defense. I mean, Aaron Glenn, who is gone, this is going to be the same type of argument, or part of the argument that we talked about with their offense.
Yeah.
Aaron Glenn is gone, but they have so many players coming back. Then they add DJ Reed. I mean, DJ Reed is a step above Carlton Davis, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Terrion Arnold's going into his second year. They have, I mean, may arguably the best safety group in Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch. I mean, top 3 at worst. I don't know how you would argue that, but I mean, they are outstanding. They have Aiden Hutchinson, who, if he's coming back to the way he was, to his 100% form, gonna be great. They add in the draft. They hit on their linebacker and Jack Campbell, who they got so much scrutiny for taking so early in the draft. They still have Alex Anzalone. I mean, it's just anywhere and everywhere you look, they're stacked.
It's hard to argue with you. I not only have anything to say except that I have other defenses that I'm very high on, but I think the one concern I have with the Lions is, will Aiden Hutchinson return and be that guy that we saw in previous years? That remains to be seen. I hope he does. And also the loss of Aaron Glenn is something to take a note of. But I like all these defenses here. So someone had to take a step back. Fortunately, it's going to be the Lions, but I completely understand where you come from putting them in your top 5.
So, like, some of the numbers that back up why I think they can't be as bad as last year.
Yeah.
Last year they had to blitz because once they lost Aiden Hutchinson, and then they just had more holes on their defense. They were 13th in yards allowed when they blitzed, but when they didn't, they were 29th. Like, I mean, it was just, they were forced to blitz, I guess you could say. Yeah. But that, and then they had issues stuffing the run, I guess you could argue. They were 31st in yards before contact per carry allowed. So second most yards allowed before contact. They go get Tyleik Williams. And then they were first in yards after contact allowed. So once they made contact, they got them down, but they just had gaps. They were allowing gaps. So, I mean, I feel like it's just, last year is like almost how my argument was for the Chiefs. Like, it can't get any worse than what it was for their offense last year. I don't feel like their defense can be any worse, but we'll see how much Aaron Glenn plays a part in that.
We'll see, but excellent point.
Okay. Number 2, Houston Texans.
Houston Texans are on my list.
Okay.
They're not number 2. They are number 4.
Okay. All right. I mean, I feel like we're picking nits at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, 5 could be 1 could be 5. I mean, who knows? But, I mean, this defense, whenever they traded for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who lucked out and didn't have the torn ACL like they initially thought, when they traded for him, like, I was almost blown away because, like, they already, again, embarrassment of riches on this defense. They have Daniil Hunter. They have Will Anderson Jr., 2 of the top pass rushers in the league. If you want to argue a weakness for this team, you could say the linebacker or Christian Harris. I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter because they have the front 4s they have, and then they have the secondary with Derek Stingley Jr., top 3 cornerback, arguably. They have Kamari Lassiter, who's going into his second year. They have Jalen Petrie, and now they have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I mean, like, pick your poison with how you're going to attack this defense. Like, the offensive line on this team may be the worst in the NFL, but, I mean, the opponents are probably not going to score 14 points a game. I mean, what does it matter?
I completely agree with you. I mean, D'Amico Ryans, I think, leads the charge with this defense. He's the reason why I have so much faith in them taking this next step. I was flirting with putting them at 3 opposite the Ravens, but I decided to keep them at 4. But, I mean, you mentioned everything there is to mention. Derek Stingley's a top 3 corner. The guy C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Will Anderson, love him as a pass rusher. Aziz Al-Shahir. I mean, what more can you expect from this Texans group? It's a shame that the offensive line continues to struggle. Doesn't seem like they did much to improve upon that offensive line either. So it's going to be another tough outing, I think, for C.J. Stroud. But the Texans are going to be a top 5 defense, no doubt about it. I lock it in. They're the one defense I'm not concerned with at all.
Yeah, I mean, even like, all right, if worst case scenario, C.J. Gardner-Johnson would have been out, if he would have tore his ACL, this defense probably still would have been in the top 5 for me. Like, I mean, is it a blow? Yes, but I mean, we saw what they did without him last year. So I mean,
Exactly.
So all right, I'm curious to see if we agree on with number 1.
We are. We got it. There's no way. Exactly. Yes. And number 1.
This team, arguably the best defense last year, and then they just got better in the offseason. They had the lowest complete roster turnover. I saw that they normally a team has between like a 25-35% roster turnover rate each season. The Broncos had 14% of their roster changed. And I mean, the starters are back. Their starters are back. They add Dre Greenlaw, who, when healthy, is a top 10 linebacker in the NFL. They add Talanoa Hufanga, who, if he could be healthy, like he was back in the Robert Saleh days of San Francisco, top 10 safety at worst, I would say. And then they get Jahdae Barron in the first round. Like, this is
Insane.
This is ridiculous.
Insane. They're the best defense by far in the league. They were, even without drafting Jahdae Barron. Jahdae Barron for me is almost the same way as the Ravens picking up Jerry Alexander. Just adding insult to injury. Their secondary is ridiculous. They're just top to bottom, just so good. It was crazy. I was at the Ravens-Broncos game last year, and I saw the Ravens were able to put some points on the board against that Broncos defense. Entirely shocked by that because their defense is so good, so well-rounded, able to beat you in a number of different ways. They're number 1, and I'm glad we agree on that because they're going to be a problem this year for sure. They're my pick to win the AFC West.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, at least we agreed on the main things. We had the number 1 offense and defense that we agreed on. But even again, it was kind of like my argument for the Ravens being number 1 offense. Like, no matter how you looked at it, they were great. The defense for the Broncos, they were number 1 in EPA per play allowed. They were number 1 EPA per pass. They were 3rd in EPA per rush. They had the most quarterback pressures. They had the most sacks. They had the 3rd highest stuff rate. And then they added 3 new starters. So, I mean,
insane
on a great defense. So, again, who really cares about how mediocre their offense is whenever they also maybe, if the Texans are allowing 14 points per game, they're allowing 12 per game in Denver.
Exactly.
I mean, all right, so who on here you didn't have the Lions in your top 5?
I did not have the Lions in my top 5. So
but
I had
the
Broncos
other
at 1, Eagles at 2, Ravens at 3, Texans at 4.
And who was your number
5? I had the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, wow.
5,
Yeah.
yes.
All right. I want to hear this. They were not my honorable mentions either. So
okay. So the top 5, I have the Steelers. It's just they're always good on defense. I like TJ Watt a lot. I'm very high on Deshaun Elliott as well. Cam Hayward continues to, for whatever reason, defeat Father Time. And I love the drafting of Derek Harmon, a guy who I was very high on out of Oregon. I think they're going to be very good again, rushing the passer. Their secondary is a bit concerning to me. I think there's ways you can attack them. Losing Minka Fitzpatrick's always something that I'm going to be thinking about. Why would they do that? Jalen Ramsey adding him in as a slot corner. I think they're going to use him versatile-wise, have him at corner, have him at safety a little bit. So I think this defense is going to be good. I give them the benefit of the doubt because they're always good on defense. I see why. Again, you had the Lions on there. I think they might be better. I also thought about putting the Seahawks at number 5 as well. But I like the Steelers at 5.
I hope you're wrong. As a
I hope I'm wrong too.
Yeah, but I can see the argument. I mean, we know their defense is always great. Who? All right. So my 2 honorable mention teams that I had were the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, they're just. I mean, I guess at worst average at any given position, and they have Mike McDonald who came in and really did something with that defense. Not gonna really go much. They get Nick Emmanwori, the biggest athletic freak of the combine. Yep. They have one of the most underrated players, in my opinion, in Leonard Williams, who doesn't get spoken about highly enough. I mean, the secondary. I mean, the secondary took a step back a little bit last year based on what they did earlier, but still top 7 defense. Number 6. I had Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, I like that. I was thinking about putting them there too. Yep.
So, I mean, this is now we talked about Aaron Glenn and his defensive coordinator abilities.
Brian Flores.
I mean, he has his handprint on this. Talk about blitzing. Jesus Christ. He's going to blitz all day and night. I mean, that's just what they had the highest blitz rate, 5th most sacks, 49. They had the highest blitz rate, 40.6%. So 2 out of every 5 plays they're blitzing, which is crazy. But they were the best against the run as far as EPA per play allowed. I mean, they had the seventh best pass EPA per pass allowed. They bring back Byron Murphy. They add Isaiah Rogers. The only thing this was questionable, all right, JJ McCarthy is set up for success. I mean, I don't know what more he could ask for, but the only questionable thing they really did was getting these older talents in with Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen. I just didn't understand that, but I'm not going to question Brian Flores at this point in his career.
He probably has a role for them somehow, but yeah, I agree with you. They're kind of old. I think they need to get a little younger there. That's what the Ravens did.
Yeah. So, all right, there's our top 5. I am truly surprised that we agreed on as many as we did. Or switched them around. We had them in our top 5, but we both agreed on number 1. I feel like they were both clear cut. Honestly, it wasn't maybe 1, 2, or 3. I feel like 1 for the offense and defense was clear cut for me.
I had the Eagles at 1, remember, but you convinced me to switch back to number 2. So I was like, let me put them at 2. But you make some good points. Broncos, by far, best defense in the league. So I'm good with that.
All right. Well, that's all we have for tonight. Again, I appreciate you stopping by. Everybody, please go give a follow at Ravens Talk Pod.
Yes.
And especially if you're a Ravens fan. If you're not a Ravens fan, you probably gonna hear a lot of good stuff. Because it's gonna be a good season for the Ravens. So good luck to everybody else.
Yes,
hoping they can get over the hump this year. But again, appreciate you stopping by and hope to catch up again with you later.
Oh, of course. Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Have me on anytime. I'd love to be here talking Ravens football when the season starts.
All right. Appreciate it. See you.
Yep. See ya.